Hey everybody, Justin Giddings here, the Kickstarter guy, and we are on part 2 of my special little secret sauce for how to instantly upgrade your social media and frankly all of your outreach and engagement, so that you're not like sending out weird stuff that makes you and other people uncomfortable. And you don't have to be a professional, you don't have to be a social media person, and the little acronym I use for that is A.P.P.S. So you can remember, for good content, there's an apps for that. The first A, or I guess the first letter A, is authenticity. And today we're going to talk about the first P, which is passion. Passion. You must have passion for your project. So I want to talk about a couple pieces of that. So there's this really interesting neurochemistry thing that I want to share with you. So we're going to do a little science. There's something called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons. Say that 10 times fast. And basically what this is, it's our brains evolved in terms of empathy. How we got empathy as a social being, social animal, right? So the idea is pretty simple. The idea is that if I, as a human being, see another human being crying, or we'll go crying, having a strong emotion, my brain will actually light up in my crying section of my brain. In other words, it's almost as if I'm experiencing the same thing as I'm mirroring that person's emotional state. I may not actually cry, but this is why going to the movies is such a cathartic experience. We're literally watching people go through things. We suspend our disbelief for a sec, just enough so that our brain starts going, oh wow, okay, cool. And it's actually going on the journey in terms of like the biochemistry. It's going on the emotional journey of the characters that we're seeing and that we're experiencing. That's why it feels so real for us when we're in that place. And then the lights come on and the illusion is broken. So how does this apply to crowdfunding? Well, that enthusiasm that you have for your project is contagious. Literally, you being excited about something will make the recipient, the audience member, being excited about it. This is why having a positive mental attitude about the whole thing is also really, really important. The moment you start feeling weird and awkward and apologizing for you being so passionate and trying to make this thing happen, the audience they may not be able to put their finger on it, but they start getting a little kind of weirded out themselves, right? You should be your biggest fan and so excited about it that people just can't help but get excited. It's also okay to be emotionally vulnerable. I've got a post, and I'll try to, if I've got this set up right, I'll actually try to cut to my screen here to where you can see it. But I was talking with a client today who's in the middle of her campaign. She's done pretty well in some areas, but had a little bit of struggle in terms of her content output, right? So we talked today about how to get that authenticity back. So going through some of her posts, a lot of her posts were that kind of classic, hey, I've got this campaign, or here's the update on that campaign. And I was like, we got to kind of shake that up. And then I found one of her posts, and literally reading the top of the post here, and I'll read it out loud in case I'm not able to get the video working. Reading the top of this post here, I knew that if I looked down at the bottom where I could see how much engagement and shares and reach she got, that it would be a big number. So it says, I'm looking around my camera, as of writing this, 18 transgender women were killed this year. Many women of trans experience report feeling unsafe on public transportation. We need to provide our cast with safe and reliable transportation, especially when we wrap late at night. Please help us make that happen. Contribute at website.com. So by actually being passionate about this, right, and having that good content and sort of talking about like, yo, there's some stakes, right, sort of life and death stakes that are sort of connected to this campaign, I looked down and yeah, she was getting like 5 or 6 times the reach that she was getting elsewhere. She had more shares. She had double the engagement. So that's kind of an example of by like making an impassioned plea because of a specific reason, people respond to that, which kind of brings me to the next point, which is give people a reason why they should back you, right? In fact, using the word because has been supported by research to increase conversion rates or responses, you could say, by as much as 50%, even if what comes after the because is a silly, ridiculous reason. So, support our campaign. Let me think of a better one. Hey, everybody always tells you to skip your coffee and give them $5. Forget that noise. That's totally lame. Go grab yourself a coffee, sit down, watch our video about this project that we've been working on for years. And if you want to contribute, that would be awesome. Here's the link to contribute. Because if you do, it will help a unicorn get its rainbow tail. Now, right out of left field, it's not, there's no actual thing there, and yet you will, I promise you will get people, LOL, I contribute, like they will respond to that, just having a because. And of course, if you've got a legitimate because or an emotional because, like that post that I read where it's like, part of this is providing safe transportation for this core demographic connected to our project, that part of their trans experience is that they feel unsafe. So that's why we need to do it. That's our because, right? That's really, really strong. And again, it wasn't like enthusiastic enough. Being emotionally vulnerable and sort of sharing those fears and thoughts when it's connected to that authenticity, go back and watch the last video on that. Passion gets magnified in a way that people can hear it and they themselves get excited about it. Not just the biochemistry of the mirror neurons, but also, of course, just engaging and relating to the content and seeing that, wow, this person really cares. That goes such a long way, especially when so many of the negative myths around crowdfunding are like that it's entitled or it's in or it's begging or something like that. That kind of goes away when you see somebody